Hi, I'm Henry Columbare. I play the killer fan / Uber driver, neither of which has a name, in Stab 2. So first day was actually in the Ghostface costume. And dude, it is hotter than shit in there. It is a two-man job just to put it on. And it's a shitload of fun once you get into it because you just kind of embody the character if you know what you know and what you see on screen. And it was so much fun. But in the scene, I had to do some kind of close-up shots that we had to do. And I get to kill off Corey. And that was my first kind of instance of just seeing how bloody this thing was going to be. And it was friggin' awesome. Like, he sprays the blood all over the window. It was absolutely awesome. So it was a good time right off the bat. And I kind of got addicted to getting into the Ghostface suit as hard as it was. I'm not going to lie, like, I felt like when I was in the suit, maybe it was partially because it was 200 degrees in the fucking thing, but I took direction way better when I was in the costume than when I was out of the costume. It was just, I don't know. It was kind of weird. I kind of pulled off a killer instinct in the thing. It was pretty fun. Yeah, so day one, I get introduced to the knives that I'm going to be using, and one's like a retractable one or a rubber one, and the other one is like a real freaking metal knife. Like, this thing is scary as shit. And like the first stab that I actually had to do, thank God it was like on a styrofoam dummy, but it was scary whenever I ended up having to switch into the real one because I'm like, oh my God, if I stab somebody with this thing, like, I'm going to freak out. Like, they're going to freak out more. But yeah, so I got more and more used to that too, which was a little even more strange that I was getting used to holding the real knife. So day two was another like 200-degree day, but it was taking place over in the parking lot where I have to dress up like the Uber driver. And it was looking like it was gonna rain. Like, it was getting scary out. Like, it was crazy. At one point they're shooting and they're trying to kind of race the clock, and I'm kind of just sitting in the back of Corey's car and like chilling out and smoking butts and just hanging out, and you just see like the clouds coming in. I'm like, shit, like they're gonna get like soaked in this thing. Which the ironic part is the other half of that took place in the pouring rain, which would have been great continuity, but what are you going to do, you know? We shot a scene over at somebody else's place where we had to run up the stairs in the attic, and that was really my first real like chase scene in the ghost suit, and it was scary as shit because not only was it hot, but I was so scared that I was going to trip over the fucking rope going up these stairs, and they were like super like steep stairs and stuff, and I'm chasing after Erica in the scene. And it was also my first time of actually like the abuse that I was about to fucking take in this movie. Like, there's a crowbar that just kind of comes out of left field, and I'm like, yeah, hit me with it, no problem. That was the tip of the iceberg for this movie. The best part about shooting the scene with Sherry was that it was after she had already wrapped, but Josh and I are spending an exorbitant amount of time trying to get a fucking matchstick to light, and I have the gloves on, and we're like, don't burn the costume, but also get the flame, and we couldn't get it. And then I think there's a part where the match is supposed to drop into gasoline, and that's how we kill off Sherry in the scene. And with just dropping the match, it wouldn't fucking do it. We went through easily like 20 fucking matchsticks. And the last one, I don't even think we were shooting. We did it, and the fucking thing went. I'm like, no, you son of a bitch! Like, I hate you. And but that scene, it looks really awesome on film. Like, it's gonna be. You probably already have seen it at this point, but it was sick. Like, the special effects on that are awesome, and you never really had to worry about the matchstick in the end. It was pretty good. We shoot at Nikki's place, and I had seen the last Stab movie, and she's a badass in it. Like, you can just tell that this chick could like beat the shit out of you in real life. So low key, when I meet her, she's like 5'2". Like, I was like, she is way tiny, but she's like a rabid chihuahua. Like, this girl will beat my ass if I don't like watch out for it. So we're choreographing, we're getting ready to shoot it. The first time she did it, I was like, okay, it's no big deal. But she kind of like grazed the mask. I'm like, okay, she's going for like realism. Without thinking about it, we go through the first one, and I'm like, yeah, she's getting really close to the mask. Like, usually in a fight scene, you know, someone's here and, you know, the head's there, and then you just kind of time the punch. And no, she wasn't doing that. She was really hitting the fucking mask. And so there's one part where we did it, and I kind of staggered a little too, like, cartoony. So it was like, all right, let's do it again. And so the next scene, she cold cocks me so hard that the ghost mask, the face just goes, and I'm like, oh, and then she goes with like a 1-2 punch, and the next one hits me in the other side of the face, and I'm like, oh, and I really like stumbled back. And for one, it was really great for like the choreography. I guess it was a learning experience, because I was like, okay, so that's how you actually fall, when you really get fucking punched. But at the second time, I'm like, fuck my jaw. She fucking laid me out like twice. It was like Muhammad fucking Ali, like so bad. And so immediately following those punches, we fall to the ground, and then at some point I end up choking her. And those 2 punches really made it easy to make that feel like I wanted to. It was, I got really method off of a couple of ass kickings. And so then, after we wrap, I go to get something to eat, and it was like TMJ times 10. Like, I'm like, I couldn't even open my mouth to eat a sandwich. It was great. You did good, Nikki. You did good. There was definitely not enough fucking blood in this thing. So Josh ended up saying, hey, I want to add a scene into this. It's gonna need Ghostface. I'm like, cool, that's in. And it was kind of a continuation of the scene where I played the Uber driver. And so I had to, so we ended up shooting, again, pouring fucking rain. And we got into the driving, and we have to pull over to a dirt road. I'm driving Josh's car, so he's like, don't you fucking crash my car. I'm like, no, I'm good. But it was like actually like trying to drive for Uber, so I'm kind of like trying to be professional and drive and shit, and I still had to say the lines. And so we get there, we get to the point, and the Uber driver mysteriously vanishes, and Ghostface pops up. And so he kind of pops up through the trunk, and Emily is sitting there. She just had the super sexy air conditioner scene where she like turns the air conditioner on and starts blowing her, and all that good stuff. And she sits back, and I snap her neck in the scene. And so the first take of us doing the actual like neck snap, I grabbed her head, and she was supposed to kind of lead my hand, but my hands led her head, and literally you hear, and I was like, holy shit. Like, I was like, if I actually killed you, this is going to be really bad for this scene. And she's like, no, that felt really good. Like, she was like, it was really good. I'm like, thank God. Like, I literally was like, holy fuck, I've never done that to anybody. It was like the scariest thing in the world. Like, I was like, holy shit. The next scene, I'm chasing after Mia because she gets away kind of out of the car. And the day that we're shooting the scene, she's telling us how she's like a karate instructor, or she does martial arts and stuff. And I'm watching the scene where she's running through the woods, and her calves are fucking like they are rocks. And I smoke a pack a day. So the funniest part was the fact that she's supposed to have asthma in the scene, and I'm like, you're gonna hear Ghostface behind her being like, like. And she's like built like a shit brick house, like her brick shit house. And I was like, dude, there's no way. Like, that is the biggest suspension of disbelief in this thing alone. Like, my calves are jello, hers are fucking granite. Like, there's no way that this would happen in real life. And originally we were going to kind of pull a blooper on Josh, but it was raining out, so we wanted to kind of wrap it. But we were going to get to the point where she kind of gets down and she's trying to get to the inhaler, and I smack it out of her hand. But instead, in the scene, I was going to grab it and be like, oh, like, because I fucking needed it. We're running uphill through wet leaves. Like, what the fuck? But but that was fun. That was actually a pretty fun day. That was one of the funner days, honestly. And it was raining, so I didn't mind having the ghost suit on. Like, I really wasn't as hot as any of the other fucking scenes that I was in, so it was good. And that was one thing about being in the Ghostface costume is, personally, I don't find Ghostface scary. Like, I love when it's on screen in anything, in Scream or in Stab, because you know what's coming. Like, it's going to be a good scene. And but it was weird to have it on, and I instantly kind of go mute. Like, you don't talk in the suit. And it was kind of weird because people will kind of get intimidated by you in the suit, and then I get it off. I'm like, like no problem, guys, good job. But it's like, or I'm sweating to death, so I'm like, Coca-Cola, please. But it was weird to, like, especially that day that we shot with Emily and Mia, because they were like, you're kind of fucking scary in this thing right now. And I was like, I think I'm the least intimidating person on the planet. Like, it was really funny. But you kind of feed into that ego a little bit, and you have a really good time in the suit. Like, it is really, really fun to be in. The last day shooting was unbearably hot. Like, it was over 100 degrees inside the set, and everybody's just dying of sweat. Now, I'm also in the Ghostface suit, so like, Josh was great. Like, he was trying to keep me out of it as much as he possibly could till it absolutely needed to. But I am a sweater by nature, and I was freaking drenched. And it was great because everybody did come together. We actually ended up having a lot of fun in the scene, as nasty as it was in the set. But it was it was pretty gross. But, like, you know, everybody kind of came together. Everybody was, you know, helping each other run lines in between the scenes and the, you know, the shots. And you know, we're moving furniture around to kind of get it all going. And it was a hard day, but it was a really fun day. Here's the full truth of this one. This is my first foray into actually acting on scene with a script. And Josh was like, when he originally asked if I wanted to have the part, I was like, hell yeah, like, it's freaking Ghostface, dude. Like, I'll play a killer in a heartbeat. And so he gives me the dialogue, and I throw him a video thing. This is something Josh doesn't even know, but I give him the longest monologue, and I audition it with my phone at work. Everybody else was gone, so I just started going. What he doesn't know is I was reading it off the screen the whole fucking time. And it was like, I'm going back and forth, like I'm trying to do it like a commercial where you read a teleprompter, like the whole nine. And he's like, wow, you did it a little too fast, and maybe you need a little bit more, like, drama to it. But otherwise, holy shit, I didn't think you knew the line. And now I'm like, fuck, I have to learn all of this shit before we shoot it. And so I spent so many days just, like, in my car in parking lots, just redoing it. I mean, literally like a week worth of practice of me getting it, and then it finally snapped. And then the one thing that I didn't realize, because, hi, first time actor, was that, yeah, I should probably run the lines with somebody. So the day that we're shooting, I know my monologues, I know all these scenes, but I don't have timing down, and nobody wants to hear me do, you know, a 60-line monologue and then screw up somebody else's lines. So I'm trying as hard as I can to do it, but I just never had that. I never had that opportunity. And again, 200 degrees in this place, so it was like, we were just wanted to get through it. So I remember the one thing is that as many times as I practiced it, the one thing that I apparently did not know how to say was poignant. And I said poignant like 3 times. And everybody's like, what is poignant? No, it's poignant, dude. And that was like in the middle of the big ass monologue. So I'm like, fuck, like, I gotta do it again. And at the same time, I'm trying to, like, take the suit off and, like, you know, like, reveal who I am, which is dad bod underneath that robe. So it wasn't like anything was like, woo, you know. But I'm having trouble, like, remembering the lines while I'm pulling off the suit. And it was just, we did probably like 5 or 6 takes of it, and I felt so bad because it was just so nasty in here that it was almost to the point where I think it actually drove everybody to the kill scene, that when they got their chance to, like, get their hands on me, everybody was going to take full advantage of that, because I got nailed with a crowbar, killed with a chainsaw, shot with a gun. Erica, she had to, God bless her, because she had to kind of choke me out with her arm. And as I mentioned, huge sweater. And when she grabbed my neck the first time, it was like the same consistency of like a jellyfish, because it was so friggin' wet. And she's like, oh, you're sweating so much. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, I feel like I single-handedly turned this place into a fucking slip and slide. Like, that's how much I sweat in this place. Like, it was so gross. And the best part was, like, the last maybe hour of the shoot, I was dead. And I don't think I ever had more relief in my life than to just lay there dead, because it was really natural. I thought I was going to die by the end of this scene. This last scene, I'm sure you'll pick up on it, but it's kind of Home Alone-y in a sense. and it's so fucking great. So like, I'm going after Josh in the scene first, and they pull this string and these paint cans hit the back of my head and like knock me out, and so when they hit, they're just, thankfully they were just empty paint cans, but the noise they made was like dong, like it was so comical, like it was such a comical sound that like when we would rewatch them, I would just play it on loop because it sounds like something out of a cartoon, but that was the natural sound that the paint cans made when they bounced off my head. That was really funny. And then, I get dinged with a crowbar. Ashley nails me with a crowbar. Erica, she chokes me out. And then the coup de grace was the chainsaw scene with Rachel. And I pictured it in my head how it was going to be, but it turned out like completely different, but for the best. Like, it's so ridiculous. That part is so friggin' funny and gross at the same time because of all the blood and everything that's everywhere in the scene. But Rachel, she's got the chainsaw, and she's like, when she started doing it, I picked up on exactly how we were going to do it, because she's like, she's like, she can't believe that she's chainsawing me. So she's like, and then looking at the saw, and then looking at me, and then looking at the saw. And so when we do the reverse shot on that, I'm like, and it's just like, I can't wait to see the thing fully edited. Like, I can't wait to see it. But it was so crazy, and it was almost like we were so fried by the end of that scene that, like, just throughout the whole course of the day, that it was like we were all going like a little bit insane. Like, we had surpassed giggles and gone right to insane. So like when this is happening, it was literally like just like, yeah, like we just wanted to, like, I don't know, like it was otherworldly the way it came out. But like at the end of it, everybody felt so like happy with it. I don't know, it was a good feeling at the end. But it's so campy, but so friggin' good at the same time. I don't know how, you have to see it if you haven't seen it. So everybody's like, yeah, you kind of give off like Mickey vibes from like Scream 2. And I'm like, all right, like, Timothy Olyphant, all right. And by the end of it, it was like, you're like Marv from Home Alone. Like, I was like, there goes the sex appeal. It's right down the drain now. Stab 2 was an absolute blast to be a part of. I got to work with some really great people on this, people that I've shot behind the camera as a director, but now got to be in front with them, and that was really awesome. Everybody definitely, I think, Nicole, you definitely need to go into some sort of a boxing league, because fuck, dude, like. But no, this movie is going to be a blast. I can't wait to see it myself, and I hope you guys see it more than once. Keep watching it. Like, you keep watching them, he'll keep making them.